Hello and welcome to my channel, all about the history of religion and spirituality. As always, a warm welcome to new viewers. Today I'm talking about the sixth of the seven ecumenical councils of the early Christian church. But I also teach about other religions, so if you're interested in the other religions, I hope that you will check out my playlists for those. Now this one is the Third Council of Constantinople, and it was held in 680 to 681 AD. During the years just prior to this, a remarkable change had happened in the Roman Empire. In 632, the religious reformer Muhammad, by his death, gave the Arabs a new faith recorded in the Quran and based on the belief in one all-powerful God, Allah, and on the religious duties of prayer, fasting, almsgiving, and pilgrimage. On the foundations of this new faith, he began organizing the tribes of Central Arabia in a single dynamic nation. The Arab tribes began to infiltrate the defenses of Persia and Byzantium. All of the southeastern provinces of the empire that had been dominated by Rome for 700 years lay open to this new enemy. Damascus, Jerusalem, Egypt, Babylon, and Alexandria all eventually fell to Muslim rule. In 641, it was Mesopotamia's turn, 642 was Persia's, and by 647, Muslim armies were at the border of North Africa. So except for Rome, Constantinople, and a reduced Antioch, the other ancient patriarchal bishoprics, Alexandria and Jerusalem, were lost to the empire. So in the first years of the conquest, the Muslims didn't seek to make converts. They levied a general tribute and a poll tax on the Christians. They had them wear distinctive clothing, stop building churches, stop displaying the cross in public, ringing church bells, or riding horses. Since all the Christians were treated equally by the Muslim rulers, pressures to conform to a prescribed standard of orthodoxy were lifted. Monophysites and Nestorians were free to pursue their own beliefs. So Monophysite churches thrived, and Nestorians sent missionaries who reached as far as China in spreading their version of the faith. In 678, with the remaining empire secure from Muslim attack, the Emperor Constantine IV asked that representatives be sent to Constantinople from the Pope, the Pope's bishops, and the Greek monasteries of Rome for a discussion of the differences between the religious thought of the East and the West. And when a new Pope, Agatho, took up his position as the leader of Rome, he sent his representatives to Constantinople with a letter. He informed the emperor, "The Roman Church has, by God's grace, never erred from the pathway of the apostolic teaching, nor has it lapsed into heretical novelties, but from the very beginning of the Christian faith has persevered unimpaired that which it received from its founders, the princes of the apostles. We truly confess that just as he has two natures or substances, that is divinity and humanity, indivisibly and unchangeably, so too he has two natural wills and two natural operations, as perfect God and perfect man, one and the same Lord Jesus Christ. Well, the papal representatives began the council, which started on November 7th of 680, by demanding that the clergy of Constantinople explain their teachings of Monoenergism and monothelism. These were the two new doctrines proposed and condemned as heretical at the council. If you watch the other videos of the councils, you'll remember that although Jesus Christ had been determined to be the Son of God, his exact nature remained open to debate. Going back 2 centuries, it was still being determined how exactly the human and the divine natures of Christ existed within one person. These 2 proposals were attempts to bring the opposing sides of the discussion to common ground. So the first one was the doctrine of one energy. The Patriarch Sergius I was the man who championed this idea, and he proposed that although Christ had 2 natures, human and divine, that the energy or the active force energizing Christ was single. And this idea was the precursor of monothelism. And that was the doctrine that although Christ had 2 natures, he only possessed one will, that is the divine will. So there could never be a conflict between the divine or the human will in the person of Jesus. Now, this didn't deny Christ's human volition, but insisted that this volition could never be in opposition to the divine will. The opponents of the one will misinterpreted this as denying that Christ had any human volition at all. So the popes rejected this doctrine completely, leading to a schism between the eastern and western halves of the Chalcedonian church. That is, the church that had accepted the rulings of the Council of Chalcedon. The church condemned the monothelite doctrine because it diminished the fullness of Christ's humanity. The 2 doctrine would state Christ had 2 natural wills and 2 natural energies without division, alteration, separation, or confusion. Well, with that finally settled, we turn next time to the final of the 7 councils, the Second Council of Nicaea in 787, and that deals with the issue of iconoclasm, a totally new and different issue from those that I presented so far. So I hope you can join me with the final video of the series. If you enjoyed this video, I invite you to subscribe and like the video, ask for notifications, and leave your comments and questions for me in the comment section. I try to answer them all if I can. In the meantime, I hope you have a safe and a healthy week, and I hope to see you all again real soon.